Hello, hello, and happy Monday, American Crochet Association. Selena Baca here, founder, host, lead educator with the ACA. Microphones plugged in, and I am ready to go. I've got a long list of things to chat about today, and anybody who leaves a comment is going to be automatically entered in the giveaway this week. I'm going to have more details on that later on, but just know that right now, our giveaway is the Crochet Skill Building Workshop. It has not even been released yet, so I'm going to be randomly choosing 5 winners to get in on that, and I'm going to choose them this time next week. Now, before I dive into my agenda this week, I do have some winners over the last 2 weeks that I want to announce. Everything that I'm talking about today, links, details, all of that, including the names of our winners, are all going to be posted in the video description below. And I've also replied to all of the winning comments with instructions to claim. Now, over the last 2 weeks, I've had the same giveaway. It has been that Crochet Skill Building Workshop. I'm going to tell you guys more about that in just a little bit. And I've been talking about it over the last few weeks. And I do have 5 winners that are all going to get free access to this. Those 5 winners are Crochet Done My Way with Wanda, winner number 1, Becky Enyart, Cecilia Howard, Janet Roberts, and Cecilia Muller. So congratulations to all those winners, and thanks to everybody who comes on over here and just makes this a fun community. I really appreciate you guys. And it's those comments that kind of make it a fun conversation, right? So again, leave your comments on this video this week, whether you're here live or on the replay. I'm going to randomly pick 5 of you guys to get free access to that Crochet Skill Building Workshop. Okay, I'm going to pick you guys this time next week, and I'm going to announce those winners on the live next time. All right, so come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from, and feel free to ask any questions that you have. All right, guys, I'm going to kick off this edition of Mingle Monday with what's new, hip, and happening in the Crochet membership. So if you are part of the Crochet membership, come on over, log in. I've got the link below. You're going to click on My Courses, and you can find the bonus this month by either going to your membership or just clicking on the Crochet Skill Building Workshop. Either way, it's going to take you right to that information. Your crochet membership gives you some kind of bonus every single month. And this month you are getting a bonus sneak peek at that skill building workshop. Okay. So whenever you're there, click on over. It's going to give you all the details and you can go on ahead and get started. Now, this workshop is something that I put together for the first time a couple years ago. Since then I made some updates. The feeling is the same, but I love to update things in terms of, whether or not they're printer friendly. I love to give new types of homework. Sometimes, especially for courses like this, it's fun to constantly go back to them. I love going back to the basics because that's kind of what you do, in my opinion, to kind of consistently practice and continue on that path of expertise. And so I love this workshop, and I love just kind of reinventing how to build your crochet skills just with different kinds of projects and different things to focus on. So even if you've taken crochet skill building with the American Crochet Association in the past, this one is new and different, and crochet members, again, you guys get to view it for free first. So whenever you log in, I've also formatted this entire workshop differently than I have in the past. Everything is sectioned out, and hopefully it's easier to navigate. So the video lesson, or first you can see that each lesson is sectioned. So here's lesson 1, there's a video, there's an outline, there's cheat sheets, there's homework, and there's a quiz. So I hope you guys enjoy that new format. I do want to give a shout out to everyone who has gone through so far. This has only been posted a couple weeks, but so many of you guys have gone through this entire workshop and earned your certificate of completion. I mean, yes, I built the workshop, but I also went through the entire thing. And because I did that, I got a certificate of completion. It's something that I love doing at the American Crochet Association because it's a tangible way of showing that you've completed something. You can download it, you can print it, you can share it in our group. Everyone gets their very own serial number, so it's not just something that or it's something that's really very specifically personalized to you. You've got your name on it, the date you've completed. There's a actual serial number that goes with your certificate of completion, so it's pretty cool. So I do want to give a shout out to all of our members who have completed this so far and have earned their certificate of completion. This is to everyone that I'm mentioning here today and anyone who earns a certificate of completion at the American Crochet Association. You know, download this, take a picture of it, take a screenshot, share it in our community. We love celebrating these little wins, and I think that it's a fantastic way for you to just kind of, you know, share something that you've accomplished, and we'd love to celebrate that with you, okay? So share. Don't be afraid to share. We love to see stuff like this. All right, so congratulations to everyone who has successfully completed and earned a certificate of completion in our current Crochet Skill Building Workshop. In no particular order, Monica Mercado, Vicky Souza, Jerry Tinker Osborne, Delia Flores, Constance Fuller, and Michelle Grossman. Congratulations to all of you guys. And I do hope that you take a minute to share your certificate of completion, especially in our community. I can't wait to see. All right. Okay. So next up on our agenda is what's new, hip, and happening in our community. Guys, I've got the link for this down below. I do have a Facebook community. It is free for any crocheter to join. You do not have to be a member or participate in any of our courses or workshop whatsoever to come on over and participate. I know a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with Facebook, including me, but what I love about this particular platform is that they really do a good job of presenting groups. And what I mean by that is that once you're in this group, you guys can share pictures, you can ask questions, you can communicate, you can find people, you can get answers. So it really is something that we can all contribute to. Other platforms, you know, kind of like here on YouTube or anywhere really, and you know, any kind of social platform, there's a mouthpiece like me, hey, but there's really no real way for you guys, for the community to participate in that in any kind of meaningful way. I don't really want to just be a mouthpiece. I'd really like to allow a gathering place for people to come on over and join. And I think this is a great gathering place. So whether you love or hate Facebook, again, this is a free community for anyone to join. And it's, again, your place to share what you're working on, ask questions, and just make friends, okay? It's also a great place for us to, and whenever you join the group, click on featured or announcements, depending on what kind of device you're on. It may look a little different, but it's where I pin information that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So every Monday, I welcome all of our new members just to kind of give them a warm welcome. Oh my gosh, that's a long one. But also I post polls. What patterns do you want to see next? What things matter to you? What announcements do we have? What questions do we have? So there's a couple posts here. Shout out to Jerry Sue Tinker. See, she's over here doing and posting the American Crochet Association Crochet Skill Building homework. Love it. So anyway, we give shout outs to some of our members. I definitely have polls and things like that. And I did want to mention that there's some patterns that we're going to have tested in the group. And anyone can be a volunteer editor. Anyone can be a volunteer tester. The more the merrier. So stay tuned for those pattern testing opportunities. I am going to pin them to the featured post here, and all of the details and everything that you need to know to volunteer are all going to be posted in each one of those. Okay. So keep an eye out for that. All right, guys. The other things, let's see. I did post links to all of the patterns that I talk about, especially in the featured post. I mentioned all of them last week, and I shared links for all of them last week, and I showed all of them to you last week. But I'd still very much like your vote on which patterns you'd like to see or view for free on our site. So I've got links to all of those down below. So if you still want to see the granny square pillow cover, fast track baskets, or jade sun hat, I do have links below. And if you want to see all of those patterns and get more details on them, just watch the video from last week, all right? And you'll have more. And then if you want to vote for them, again, it is a featured post. Oh my goodness, so many comments. It is a featured post. you're seeing a post in all of the comments. That's why it looks like it's so long. But yeah, you can come on over and vote for your favorite too after that. Okay. All right, guys. So I've got two things that I want to share with you that are on our site, and one I'm gonna dive into just a little bit. It's an old. It's not very old. It's an old topic, but it's a great topic, and it's 5 reasons crocheters should visit their local yarn stores. And what prompted me to share this again, even though it's not a brand new article that I wrote, is that I just went out of town last week. It was spring break. So we were just having fun, living it up on vacation. And one thing that I love to do whenever I visit new places is I like to see what local yarn shops there are. There was a local yarn shop. And so I went and visited mine, and I just enjoyed so much about it that I wanted to share with you what I got, but I also wanted to share some reasons you might want to visit your local yarn stores. So you guys can always read all of the information on this article when you click on the link below. I'm not going to read it word for word, but I just kind of wanted to cover some of the topics. Okay. So there sometimes, I want to say this, there sometimes is a stigma for crocheters for their local yarn store, LYS, local yarn store. And when I say local yarn store, I don't mean Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I don't mean these big name brand stores that sell commercial yarn. I love those, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying don't go to those, or those places are terrible, but I love those places. And in addition to those places, we do have local yarn stores. And, sometimes crocheters go, local yarn stores, those are just for knitters. I don't feel welcome. Everything is too expensive. And I'm speaking for crocheters here, we don't feel like we belong there, right? So here are some reasons that I think it could be really important and really beneficial for you to find your local yarn store and check it out, okay? All right, so reason number 1, you guys can get help finding patterns. Now, you may be, super savvy with the internet and how to find things, and maybe you're on Pinterest or you're on Etsy or you're on Ravelry, and maybe that's something that you can already do really well on your own. And that's fine, but sometimes it's fun to say, hey, maybe I am kind of an expert in this, but let me kind of round up some yarns that I love. I can take those into my local yarn store. And if I don't feel very comfortable about what do I do with this yarn or what do I do with that yarn, your local yarn store, they're kind of yarn experts. And so they'll be able to look at the yarn that you have and offer suggestions. Most local yarn stores do utilize Ravelry in terms of search. And so if you're unfamiliar with using Ravelry, or you're not very comfortable with it, or you're not very confident in what you're coming up with, your local yarn store will typically, almost every local yarn store I've been to, they've got a computer in there and they already have Ravelry logged on, and they'll be able to search and find really good solutions for you to use. As a person who sells patterns on Ravelry, every single month, new local yarn stores are doing this, and they're coming across some of my patterns, and they're assisting buyers to buy my patterns and download them and, pairing yarn with them and things like that. So I already see this working on that scale alone. So again, it may not even matter what yarn you have. I think that this could be a good solution for you. Okay, thing number 2, you guys can view yarn in person. Now, you may feel like, why, I don't know. If I go in there, I have to buy stuff. Not necessarily. You guys can browse, or you can just ask questions and feel more informed. Or you can buy all the yarn. You can do whatever you want, but don't feel that just because you're going in there that you're going to feel intimidated to buy something or that you have to buy something. You can browse. It is okay to browse and ask questions. So if you have been hearing about these luxury yarns, these hand-dyed yarns, these hand-spun yarns, or even, kind of more luxury yarns that you're wondering what all the hype is, right? And some of my favorites that I feel like there's a lot of hype behind are Rowan, Cascade, Malabrigo, Blue Moon, Hedgehog Fibers. Those are all yarns that I was like, what is it? What is the hype about? And then I saw them in local yarn stores. These are just ones that I happen to fall in love with. Madeline Tosh, things like that. And I'm like, ooh, this is why everyone loves it. So yeah, those are just some of my favorites. And, I gave them a shout out. But if you're wondering what all the hype is about, going and viewing them in person, feeling them, seeing things made in these yarns, just kind of having a conversation about, hey, why is this hand spun or hand dyed, or why is that, tell me why this yarn is special. Your local yarn shop, they got the yarn because of something, because it's special in some way, so they'll be able to articulate that to you. Okay, next, number 3, you can learn about fibers. So just like, hey, what's all the hype with these luxury yarns? If you're like, what's all the hype about wool or alpaca or yak or anything that isn't acrylic or cotton, what is all the hype? Your local yarn store is going to be able to guide you, to help you, to give you some pros and cons about the fibers they carry. For example, maybe you're like, ooh, I love this yarn. And they go, well, that is a $50 hank of yak from Tibetan monks, and that's why it's that much, because of where it came from and how little there is. And so if you want to make something with this, we only have 10 hanks, which is this much yard, so you can make these things with it. Or maybe it's like, hey, if you've never tried alpaca before and you don't know what all the hype is, here's 1 hank, you can make a hat, and then you can wear that hat and see why it's so fantastic. So you can really, your local yarn shop is really going to do a good job of teaching you about all these different fibers, whatever they are, and the pros and cons of those fibers, what you can make with them, what they're really going to be best suited for, things like that. All right, thing number 4, and I am going to shout this from the rooftops for so many reasons, okay? So as a crocheter, you may need help or support. Maybe you've got a question about a pattern. You feel like you don't really know who to turn to, and you just kind of need some help. Maybe you want to learn something. Maybe you want to grow your skills. Maybe you want to take a workshop. Maybe you're proficient enough because you've gone through training at the American Crochet Association. Maybe you're already an instructor of some kind through the American Crochet Association or otherwise. And maybe you want to teach. So in either case, reach out to your local yarn shop to see if they already offer some kind of training in the crochet realm. And if they don't, maybe you can be the person that brings crochet to that local yarn shop. Maybe you can teach. Maybe you can offer a workshop. Maybe you can give private lessons. If you guys want more information about that, if you want that possibility, if you want to become an instructor, if you want to give workshops, we do have training programs for that at the American Crochet Association. So you guys can definitely click on over to the American Crochet Association and get more details. All right. Okay. So after that, I've got just one more thing, and that kind of leans into, it's kind of a spinoff of the last point, but I think that crocheters can really benefit from their local yarn stores for education and community. Maybe your local yarn store right now is 100% knitters. Maybe they don't crochet. They don't know what crochet is. They've never seen it. They've never heard of it. They don't even know what to do with it. Maybe you are the crocheter that can bring crochet to this local yarn shop. Not only that, but maybe you don't know anyone who crochets or knits or even cares about yarn. If you kind of make your local yarn store your community, it will be your community. Even if they're not having gatherings, or if they're not teaching or anything like that right now, maybe you can help to introduce that into that particular environment. So if it isn't there, maybe you can be the one to bring it there. So anyway, those are some things. I wrote a ton more information. So if you want to read that entire article and see if, I do have a little link for you guys to find a local yarn store near you. Whenever you click that link, all you have to do is type in your zip code and it will tell you all of the local yarn stores in your area. For example, I have a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I've got quite a few. So it'll tell you all of the local yarn stores in your area, and it also, you can look at them by distance and things like that. So if you don't know where your local yarn store is, you can find it. And again, tons more information in that article. Okay. So if you guys could do me a favor, read through that and comment either on the site or comment right here to let me know what you think. Okay. If you have a local yarn store and you have any feedback on any of these topics that I shared in this article, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Whether you got a good story or a bad story, or maybe you've got a new plan of action, I'd love to hear it. Okay. All right, guys. One more thing that I want to chat about with you guys today. I've got a new pattern. It's not new. It's new to the site. It's an oldie but a goodie. A new pattern for you guys to view for free on our site. It is the Sage Brush Skirt. It is a pretty easy crochet pattern, and I made it in tons of different sizes. Now, I wrote this pattern back in my days of Happily Hooked magazine, back when I used to work with them. And this was a pattern that I wrote for one of the past issues, gosh, probably back in 2015 or 2016, something like that. And what I love about this pattern is that, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I was kind of dabbling into making clothes that were made of crochet that I really loved, this was kind of one of the first things that I made. And for me, I was really hesitant to make clothing for a really long time because I wanted to make something that fit. I wanted to make something that was flattering, and I wanted to make something that was, I don't want to say easy to wear, but I didn't feel was too delicate or was going to snag or was going to get ruined or anything like that. And so what I did was I created this skirt, and I don't want to spend weeks crocheting something. I want something instant. So I created this skirt because it does a few things. I made it in a worsted yarn, which loves me the worsted yarn. It's one of my favorites, which makes stitching a little bit quicker. But also I chose yarns that really highlighted not only the stitch pattern, but felt good and looked good and wore really nicely. So they're going to wear well over time. I chose yarns that are not going to be fickle and aren't very expensive. So you can totally make a skirt for the cost or for the same cost as buying one somewhere. Not a crochet skirt though, because those things are expensive. But here, I also wanted to make something that I could easily pair with clothes that I already wear. And my internet is slow and it's taking forever, but there I am. There's me on my Happily Hooked magazine photo shoot. Just showing that, I'm pretty basic. I don't have very complicated ensembles. So whenever I do crochet something to wear, I want it to layer in nicely with what I'm already doing. So what I love about this skirt is that if you own leggings, if you own a tank top or a shirt or anything like that, that's how I wore my skirt. I live in Oregon, so it's never really very warm for long. Sometimes it's, pretty cool for most of the year. So leggings for me and just kind of a shirt and, some kind of scarf or something like that, it's pretty comfy. I'm pretty comfortable. I'm not too cold. And what I loved about this skirt is that, yes, it does have that mesh fabric. So are you just going to throw this on with nothing underneath it? Not if you're not going to the beach. So if this is going to be a bathing suit cover, totally, you can just do that. But again, I love the slight little gaps in this fabric because it does a few things. It makes the fabric more fluid, so it's not going to be stiff, it's not going to be dense, it's not just going to stick to you, right? So it's really giving you this nice fabric, that open stitch work. And it's fun to layer. So you can really have fun with things that you may already have in your wardrobe. Just like me, look, I'm just kind of an all black. See, I'm kind of an all black kind of girl. And so it was really easy for me to pair that together. Also, this skirt can be sized as you go. So what I mean by that is you start the band first in rows. So it's very easy to measure right away whether or not you're making the size that you want to make. The band is where you begin, and that's around your true waist, around your belly button. So you can immediately see whether the yarn you've chose is going to gauge the way you want it to gauge. Then the skirt is worked from that point downward. So what that means is that you can constantly try it on as you go to see if it's hit the length that you want it to make. Maybe you don't want it, mid-thigh like I have it. Maybe you want it to your knees. Maybe you want it a little shorter. Maybe you want it below your knees. Maybe you want it all the way to the floor. It's very easy to just kind of stop or keep going until it's a length that you like. So if you've never crocheted a skirt before and you're kind of interested, or if you know someone who wants a crochet skirt, I encourage you to check this out. And if you do make this, I would absolutely love to see. So definitely share, not only over in our community, but definitely share your finished projects on Ravelry. And if you want some inspiration to see other projects that people have made and how they paired them and what yarns they used in different colors and things like that, you guys can see all the projects over on Ravelry. And as you can see, all this information is neatly tucked into that listing that, again, is free to view. So definitely check that out. Okay. All right, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Now, I just want to take a minute to say, hey, hello to everyone who's here. Again, all of your comments count as an entry to win that Crochet Skill Building Workshop. I'm going to randomly pick 5 of you guys this time next week. So keep those comments coming, okay? All right, let's see who's here. It looks like my friend Chris Lopez is here. Hello, Chris. It is always so good to see you. I love that you keep coming back every week. Thanks for being here, lady. It looks like Angela is here. Hello, Angela. So good to see you. Lady Crafters Fiber Creations, aka Mary. Hello from England. It's so good to see you here. Oh, Angela says it's exciting. Brooklyn girl in Texas. How do we become a member? Yeah, so you can click on the link below to get more details about our crochet membership at the American Crochet Association. So what that means is, actually, hold on. Let me do this. Nope. That's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And that's what I want to do. Sorry, I'm an admin, so it looks different. So come on over to our site. I've got the link below. You guys can learn more about the American Crochet Association, learn who I am and why the American Crochet Association is here. You can join that free Facebook community that I was telling you about. And if you want to see all of the courses and workshops and membership opportunity that we have, we've got that for you as well. If you want to join our crochet membership, there's the link right there, but we've got lots of other courses that you can join. Learn how to crochet. We've got a stitch challenge. We've got the skill building workshop. We've got a crochet instructor training program, a pattern writing course, how to sell crochet patterns if that's something that you're interested in doing, how to start a crochet career of making things and selling them. And then we also have a artisan Afghan challenge. So tons of stuff depending on what you're looking for. Again, lots of different categories. We've got challenges, workshops, and trainings. So go on over there, take a peek, and definitely either leave a comment or email me if you have any questions. And I'd love to see you in our community, Brooklyn girl in Texas. So take a peek and let me know what you think. Chris Lopez, I went to my local yarn store to donate hats to their infant program. They were less than excited when they found out there were crochet hats as well as knit. Haven't been back since. I'm so glad that you're saying this, Chris Lopez, because unfortunately, I feel like there might be attitudes or feelings and it makes crocheters feel less than welcome. I want to say that I hear you. And as a matter of fact, the local yarn store, I'm going to show you guys some things in just a second. The local yarn store that I just went and visited, they assumed that I was a knitter. What are you going to knit with this? And I was like, well, I crochet. And then they're kind of, oh, crochet? Like, it's almost like, what is that? Why would you do that with yarn? That's the feeling that I get. And you know, forever ago when I would visit local yarn stores, that used to really kind of hurt my feelings and make me feel unwelcomed because I've always heard or seen things like that. And now I just kind of take pride, like, oh, wow, maybe they just don't know about crochet. So maybe I can give them a better experience or maybe I can do something to change their perspective or to bring crochet here. So don't let one person ruin your experience. And even if they're like, no, we don't crochet here. No, we're not going to do it. Nobody wants to do it. Go anyway, you know, change their mind, you know, be the change that you want to see. So I hear you, Chris, and I'm so glad that you said that. And it doesn't excuse that. But it's definitely something that I feel like sometimes we have to make space for ourselves. So hopefully we can make space for ourselves. Chris Lopez went on the Sierra Nevada yarn crawl wearing a crochet top and every single store was so welcoming. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And again, you can't just, even if you have a bad experience, even if you didn't feel welcome, even if when you went in there and you tried everything, you just didn't feel welcome, you know, maybe they're not the only person that works there. Maybe there's other people. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're just reflecting their own inadequacies. I can't help them with that. I don't know what to do. So just keep going. You know, don't feel like you're not welcome. Hello, Gail. So good to see you. Ocean Girl 505 finally made it to another live. Hi from Mary Ann in New Mexico. So good to see you here. Thank you for joining. Janet Roberts is here. Hello, hello. So good to see you. Monica Mercado, the shirt has been on my to-do list for a while. Ooh, what shirt? The skirt? If it is the skirt, if it is the sagebrush skirt, I think you are such a fantastic crocheter. I love the yarns you choose. I love your work. I love how you showcase what you make. So, Monica, I would be honored and I cannot wait to see. So, keep us posted. Yeah, that's true. She says so many things to crochet. I know, so many things to crochet, so little time. I hear you. And Amy McKeever, always so good to see you. Thank you for checking in, my friend. All right, guys, so I wanted to end this video with, I just wanted to show some things that I got from my local yarn shop because, again, maybe everything that I said, maybe everything that you saw, maybe you're still not convinced to see if you've got a local yarn shop. I got two things that I am jazzed out of my mind about, okay? So the first thing that I got at my local yarn shop is this fantastic, beautiful, amazing piece of deliciousness. And the reason this is gorgeous is not just because of the yarn color, not just because of the yarn type. I specifically got this because it was locally made. That means there was a farm with sheep that had names. This particular sheep was Nellie, and they sheared the sheep, and then they processed the yarn, and then they spun it, and then they dyed it. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever, that this yarn, it's such a great little like souvenir from my trip. And I love the colors, and I like, this is, look at how much yarn this is. I don't think it's if it is a weight 4, it is a very big 4. I think it's actually a 5, which is also kind of cool because I think another misconception is that local yarn stores only have like tiny yarn, like, you know, lace weight or weight 1 or weight 2. Not true. There are lots of different weights and types. And whatever, you know, everybody's pricing structure is a little different. So, you know, $5 may be a lot to some people. It may be nothing to others. But for me, for this to come from a farm and somebody, you know, sheared a sheep named Nellie and then processed it and then spun it and then dyed it, this was $23. And for me, I felt like that's not bad. I'll take that. Thank you. So this is one thing that I got from my local yarn store. That's why I got it. And that's maybe something you can look for at your local yarn store. So the second thing that I got that I thought was totally cool, I have to say I'm a button hoarder, an enthusiast. I love buttons. And sometimes when I see different kinds of buttons, I'm way too excited. Like, yeah. So anyway, my particular yarn store had buttons that were handmade in the area out of pebbles. So someone found pebbles in the area. Yeah, you see that's like a river stone. And they drilled holes in them to make buttons. So I got 2. They're stones. They're river stones. So anyway, I've never seen anything like it. So I thought that was a really cool find, and it really made me so happy that I went to that local yarn store because I found 2 things that I could have never found anywhere else. And I had a good time. So anyway, I'd love to hear your local yarn store stories. You can either post them here in the comments or you can come on over to our community. Anyone can post. So you can share your experience there. You can tag your local yarn store. You can share pictures. You can share your experience, good, happy, bad, or sad. And if you guys want to contribute more in terms of teaching, workshops, education, anything like that, I hope you consider the American Crochet Association and our Crochet Instructor Training Program. All right, guys, it is always a pleasure and a joy to be here. Thank you so much for coming on over and making this a fun conversation. I hope you enjoy everything that we have at the American Crochet Association. Peace, love, crochet. See you next time. Bye-bye.